What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Y'all like the video, subscribe to the channel. Leave comments in the comments section after I'm done with the video. Share the video as well. But I do want y'all to hit that like button for sure. I got to get these likes up on these videos, man. Definitely, because a lot of y'all view and tune in, and I appreciate it. But I got to get the likes up too. I definitely would appreciate that. Just hit the like button as soon as y'all come in here, please and thank you. But nonetheless, man, let's talk about Charlamagne the God. So radio host, Power 105.1, The Breakfast Club, Charlamagne the God, world-renowned radio host. Charlamagne basically said that Chief Keef, Chicago rapper Chief Keef, is not globally influential as an artist, as a rap artist. And I'm sorry, y'all, I strongly disagree with Mr. Charlamagne the God. I think Charlamagne, what, early 40s now? I think that because of that, he is really out of touch with the younger generation in a lot of different ways. And I think, people are like, oh, he's more hip. He definitely is hip to a lot of things. But I think sometimes, when you're a little older, you kind of don't see the broad spectrum. You don't see the impact of something all across the board. You're looking within your generation and not looking at the youth. I'm 29 years old. I'm not the biggest NBA YoungBoy fan, but I recognize what NBA YoungBoy is for the younger kids. He's an iconic artist for them. Like, I'm talking about from 15 to 23, 24, that generation, he got them on lock. He got them on lock, and it's not even close. He don't have to have no promo or nothing. If he goes on his Twitter page or his Instagram and say he releasing an album at 7 o'clock in the morning, it's going to be, I'm talking about thousands on top of thousands on top of thousands on top of thousands, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people getting his albums. And while that music is not something that I probably run and rush to, I understand the impact that he has on the younger generation and the type of numbers and units that he moves and how many people he's influenced. And I think that Charlamagne is losing sight of how many people Chief Keef has influenced and inspired to even start making music. Let's get back to this, man, to the fact. Chief Keef is an individual who really put a magnifying glass on drill music itself. He wasn't the creator. He wasn't the innovator of drill music. But he was the first person to have outstanding views within that subgenre of rap music. Within the drill subgenre of hip-hop music, he was the first one to have outstanding views. The first person to open the floodgates for the city of Chicago and the drill movement, right? After that, after Chief Keef dropped Don't Like and Bang, Love Sosa, the record industry came in droves to Chicago to try to see what type of talent they can sign ASAP. Because they didn't even have an idea of what was going on in Chicago. A lot of people only thought Chicago was this a place full of super conscious individuals, because for a while, the only artists that came out of Chicago that had any type of real success were conscious artists like Kanye West, Lupe Fiasco, Common, individuals like that. Ryan Fest has small success, but he was, Kanye helped him with that. But other than that, and Twister and them, Twister, I want to say Twister and Crucial Conflict and Bump J, they were street rappers, but they never gained super national appeal, even any type of global appeal until Kanye came and got associated with them. When he hooked up with Twister for Slow Jams and Overnight Celebrity and all that type of stuff, right? But for a while, people didn't even know, even though a lot of the major gangs outside of the Crips and Bloods started in Chicago, Illinois, people didn't even know about what was going on in the city and in the way the gang life was set up and how it is when you're a youth, a young individual embedded in street life until they heard Chief Keef, right? And then when Chief Keef came out, he popularized, he was using Chicago slang in his songs like thought. He talking about getting top and all that type of stuff from a chick. Terms that he didn't create these words at all. He didn't create these terms at all, but he popularized them in his music so much that people from other regions far from Chicago, Illinois, was saying People on the West Coast in California, people in New Jersey, people in New York, right? Saying op, thought. Everybody down south saying thought. I was in school in Mississippi when Keef and them first really, when Bang dropped in September, like September of 2011, he dropped Bang. I was in my freshman year of college at Mississippi Valley State University. By the time Don't Like came out in my second semester in like Don't Like came out in like March of 2012. When that came out, it was everywhere. And everybody, and people started getting on Keef. They were saying thought, you know what I mean? And then my man, shout out to, I don't know him personally, but P. Rico was saying Thotiana. Whole time she is the Thotiana and she brained me. I forgot what that hang, but it was on that hang with me, right? And but anyway, Keef was using these terms in Chicago, the Chicago dudes use, and everybody around in other regions of the United States started to use those terms. Keef was the first individual I saw make a music video in his grandmama's living room, his bedroom, in an alley outside of his grandmama's house, right? On the block. Nobody was making videos like that, just hanging out on the block with 30, 40 deep on a block, or in your grandmama basement, making music videos in your grandmama living room, because he was on house arrest and he couldn't go nowhere. And at that point, when people saw that, they're like, damn, I don't have to have this high budget video where I gotta have this whole treatment rolled out for we gonna do this like this in the video, we gonna do it like this in the video. No, Keef started the formula like, no, man, we finna call all the guys from the block, we finna be outside, and y'all finna be out here, we finna post up, and we finna sing the song in my lyrics. And some of the guys, and I'm gonna be real with you, Keef was one of the individuals I saw having all these, and some people even say this too. I don't glorify this at all. Some people say, fam, I never seen a 30 clip like that in music videos until I seen the dudes in Chicago, Chief Keef them videos showing that. There's nothing to glorify, I'm just saying, right? But Keef showed other people the blueprint. Like, you don't have to hide this $1,000 video and none of this. No, you can do a video, shoot a video, $200. Have a cameraman, you stand on the block with all the guys, and it still will be intriguing and captivating, and still can captivate the world because people are listening to the lyrics and they're looking at the lifestyle and they're wondering what the hell is going on in Chicago, Illinois, right? Keef, I'm telling you, man, like Keef influenced drill music to spread to Jacksonville, Florida, Brooklyn, New York, to the damn UK and other cities. So how can it not have a global impact? He's spreading to the UK. People over in Spain and other European countries dressing like Keef did in 2012. They're using Chicago slang out there in Spain and all these other European countries. Like, you can't say Keef ain't had no global impact. It's just, it would simply not be true. It wouldn't be true, man. Like, you to see, like, Keef really fathered in a whole lot of younger artists in the game. And artists that he's older than, matter of fact. Honestly, I think 21 Savage is a branch off of the Chief Keef tree. If you ask me, you can say I'm wrong, but early 21 Savage was like a branch off of the Chief Keef tree. To me, and a lot of people feel like they saw Keef, and it was like, man, like, he was the blueprint for real. Like, he was the first dude that really get them outstanding views, just all really showing the everyday lifestyle of a hood dude in Chicago, Illinois. And the crazy thing about it, like, it was other people rapping before Keef. Dirk and them was doing it before Keef. And Louis now, but Keef, that particular sound that he was producing with the ad-libs and all of that was so catchy, and he was able to make it so magnetic that it just struck a chord in everybody across the country. Try to do something different with their music, try to do something or emulate that sound. For real, you know what I mean? So to say he ain't globally influential is ridiculous. Like, it's no way, man. I watch dudes in Mississippi wonder and ask me all these, when they found out I was from Chicago, it was because of Chief Keef that they wanted to know what it was like living in Chicago. Had I been to O Block, I'd have told them I lived 4 minutes away from the O before when I was a young shorty on 65th and Minerva, right? They on 65th, 64th, 65th and King Drive. Minerva just a little bit down from there, right? I'm telling them, you know, they asking me, you know, how is it like living in Chicago? Is it really gangs like that? Is the BDs really outside like that? Like, people were really just marveled at, you know, his sound and the aura that he had around him. It was like you really had to live in that time period, man. A lot of dudes was trying to sound like him. They were even calling, you know, Keef would talk about smoking on one of his ops And it became a popular term that people thought was just weed, and other people in other states were using that word. I'm not going to use that word to be respectful to that young man's mother and his family, but people were using that word when they were talking about smoking on weed. And the dude's homies, the homies of the deceased individual had to tell him, hey, no, they was rappers too, telling them, y'all got to stop saying that word, fam. That's our homie. That ain't no slang for weed in Chicago. Keef popularized that and made it seem like it was a slang for weed, but it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, like, you know, like I said, like whether you think it's a good or bad thing, and a lot of people feel like it's a genre that promoted destruction, and it promoted the killing of the violence among our young black men in the city, and it has. I will say that for sure. Along with the street activity, it promoted that. The street activity went in hand with the drill. It wasn't just the music in Chicago. It was really street activity that was taking place, and they would talk about it on wax. But you know, it has influenced a lot of negativity. I'm sorry, but whether you think it's good or bad, Keef influenced drill music to spread worldwide, without question, man. Like drill wouldn't have, man. Listen. It wasn't even that wasn't even a term people was even thinking about. And Keef didn't make the term. He just popularized it. And his sound and his wave was so magnetic that people wanted to ride that wave, and people started to emulate it and rap and try to talk like Keef and use certain words that was not words within their native land. Native land meaning their home state or home city. You know, so nah, man, like a lot of dudes, he opened a floodgate for a lot of young brothers, even in the city of Chicago. You know, opened a floodgate for them to get noticed and get recognized for the music that they were creating. And their music didn't sound like Keef. They had their own dope music, but Keef was the person that put the magnifying glass on the city. And then, you know, which caused everybody else to kind of like want to mimic it. I was going to make another point too. I said about how he shot his videos and, but yeah, man, I'm trying to think of any other points that I missed. But yeah, man, Chief Keef was definitely globally influential. To this day now, man, you got Chief Keef fans that don't even know how to speak English, but they can tell you everything, every Chief Keef lyric. I seen somebody even posted, somebody on Say Cheese said that they went over to Spain and they were saying that the people in Spain were motivated to learn English just so they can know what Chief Keef was talking about, what he was saying in his music, so they can have a better understanding of what Keef was describing. So they learned English because of that. You know what I'm saying? That is powerful within itself. That's powerful within itself. A lot of people wanted to learn English just to be able to be privy to what Keef was talking about and what was actually going on in the city, man. You cannot say the genre of drill without saying Keef. There's no, when you put on for an entire subgenre of music, drill music, you definitely had a global influence. Case closed. Machiavelli Mills TV, I'm out. Peace.